Welcome to BirdDogPolitics. I'm BDP. Pretty slow news day today politically, or yesterday I should say, since this is Tuesday morning. This afternoon we'll go for our first non-stress test. Baby girl's due in 3.5 weeks maybe. But not much happening in the world of politics. So, if I may, I'd like to tell you a story about Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I'm considering it my second home these days. Let me know if you agree. I've been to Eau Claire 6-7 times, something like that. My in-laws live there. So we go when money's available, when there's a big event happening. We used to go, well, I think last summer we went once a month, or 2 summers ago we went once a month. But this summer, money's a little tighter. The Trump economy is really hurting. But I have some great memories of Eau Claire. This one time, I'd met my in-laws. The very first time I'd been dating Em, my wife, for, I don't know, 1.5 years maybe, on and off. And we got invited to her sister's place. And we went to dinner. And I was telling stories about being a 4th grade teacher, and I said, yeah, and then the kids are doing the gritty across my classroom. And my in-laws are not football fans. So like, what's the gritty? Can you explain it? Can you show us? I'm like, it's a dance where you try to gritty. And they said, come on, show us. Just what does it look like? And when I had met my wife, she said, I want a man like my dad. If my mom says, I love this song, I want to dance, my dad will move tables and chairs out of the way and he will slow dance with her in the middle of anywhere. He loves my mom so much. And I was recently divorced and deep into my vodka habit, and I said, well, I'm not a man like your father. You can go look somewhere else if you'd like. Sure as shit, I was in the middle of a restaurant doing a gritty that looked absolutely nothing like Jetta's. Terrible. Another time, we went to an Eau Claire Express baseball game. And James Whitman from the opposing team had a broken bat, and he gave it to my son. I said, here, you want a bat? And my son was like, wow, yeah. And we tracked down a baseball, and we bought a silver Sharpie, and all the Eau Claire Express signed his baseball. A couple of them signed his bat. He got a hat. I got a hat. It's the only hat that fits. My wife loves the Eau Claire Express hat on me. Size large, extra large, with the elastic in it. So it'll do 7 3/4, 8, whatever I need. But that was really fun. My sister-in-law came, brother-in-law came, parents, and my boy got to see his first Northwoods League baseball game. We've seen the Brewers. Next up is probably the Timber Rattlers. We also got invited by my in-laws out to a lake. It might be Chapman Lake out by Stanley. It's somewhere out of Eau Claire to the east, southeast maybe. That was really, really fun. I got to meet so many people. I met some people in the UW Eau Claire system. And they're going to kind of be my source for launching BirdDogPolitics bigly nationwide. But it was really fun. And one of my biggest fears was calmed out at the lake. See, I'm 42 and my wife is 27. And she used to be a model. And I'm just a fat old guy with no money. But everything worked out in the end. If you noticed, yesterday I did some just for funs. I really am concerned about young men's mental health. This country is not supporting young men's mental health. So half the time I want to do a political news channel and half the time I want to just be a bruh. And just bruh out in a smart way, in a non-toxic way, because I keep hearing we need progressive voices. And I know we need men's health voices. So I'm going to do that. And I'm counting on the friends I made in Eau Claire, because my wife was the only 20-something at the lake that day, and there were a whole bunch of 40-somethings. So I was hanging out with her mom. I said, oh, let me go hang out with my peers. And she laughed and didn't smack me. But that's my disclaimer. You can't give me shit about it. I've already told her 15 times, you're way too young for me. Go find someone your own age. I'm so mature. She laughed. Baby on the way, already married. Love that woman. Oh, let's see. We threw a graduation party for my mother-in-law when she graduated from college. There's a little like Irish pub downtown, and there's a back room, and we rented out the back room and threw a party, and all those UW Eau Claire people came, and it was nice to see them. They're invited to our reception in September. I hope they come. They bought us an awesome high chair, which pooled the money. They didn't come to the Northwoods for the party, but they sent in a beautiful gift. So I've got people who care about me in Eau Claire. That's nice there. But the grad party was fantastic. We're so proud of my mother-in-law for completing her degree. That's still something worth celebrating. I know there's kind of a shit posting about experts and we want the regular people in. I still believe in experts, man. If you give me someone with a doctorate, my shrink has a doctorate. I'll take a smart shrink over a dipshit any day. FEMA shouldn't be led by dipshits. So we celebrate. I have my master's degree. I think she has her master's degree now too. And we go to work. One time I had my appendix out. We went down to Eau Claire, and at 10 o'clock my belly hurt. I couldn't sleep. At midnight I still wasn't sleeping. I was rolling around, tossing and turning. At 5 in the morning, I said, enough of this. I woke my wife up. I said, get our kid up. I got to go to the ER. Let's go. And at 5 in the morning, we dropped my son off at my in-laws. We had to stay in a hotel because the whole family was there. There's 4 daughters, and I married the oldest. I have a 15-year-old little sister at Memorial High School. It's pretty odd. Really changes your perspective, though, because I haven't cared about the well-being of a 15-year-old girl since I was a 16-year-old boy. It's a little strange, but that's another story. So they took me to the ER. It's in the Mayo system. And there was some guy getting an amputation ahead of me. They're like, yeah, we're just going to have to keep you in here. Some guy's getting an amputation. I'm like, damn, my appendix is going to burst. Put me in front of the amputation guy. So every hour I'd hit the button and they'd come fill me up with morphine and I'd fall asleep for 45 minutes or an hour. And then I'd hit the button again and get some more. And at the end of the night, got me in, got me out, took my appendix. They said I was a super pleasant patient. Yes, please, no thank you, whatever. Until I woke up and they gave me a glass of water and I said, fucking city water. I'm sorry, that's not me. But that one was an adventure. We had one of the dogs with us at that time. So the dog had to stay, and my father-in-law took my son, and my mother-in-law took care of my wife while I was in the ER. Well, my wife stayed with me most of the day until she finally had to eat her first meal at 3 or 4. But I was in the Mayo health system right around the time Donald Trump was surviving an assassination attempt. And it's always interesting. I don't buy into too many conspiracy theories, but I don't know if you can see this. Under my belly button, that is the scar that the Mayo surgical team in a surgical setting left on my 41-year-old body. I'm going to have a scar forever from having my appendix out. At half Donald Trump's age, in a surgical setting, his ear looks fantastic. I don't know. The guy did a bunch of WWE shit. He knows about blading. The bullet went this way, but the blood came this way. It's odd. This isn't about that. We went last summer and I wore this Stop Project 2025 shirt to the farmer's market and the Pride event. I don't wear this shirt in the Northwoods. There are way too many meth heads and hillbillies who want to argue that trickle-down economics is the way. And I cannot convince them that giving more money to the rich does jack shit for a guy like me, pardon my language. But I wore this Stop Project 2025 shirt and I got 3 people who said thank you so much. Last summer when I learned about Project 2025, when I started reading all of the ideas in there, arrest content creators, shut down OnlyFans. That was my top priority. But Department of Ed stuff and white Christian nationalist stuff. And can you believe they wrote that down? No, Tim Walz, they wrote that down and they built a MAGA LinkedIn page and they did indoctrination videos and they fired career employees, career civil servants and public servants, and installed dipshits in there. Remember when I said we love experts? This is part of it. And so I took my 9 or 10-year-old boy to the Pride event happening downtown by the farmer's market. And you know what that 9 or 10-year-old boy asked me about the Pride event? Not a fucking thing. He didn't care. Why are those guys holding hands? Because they're holding hands, dude. He's already familiar. When he was in 2nd grade, his best friend said, I think I have a crush on you. How'd you feel about that, son? Well, I have a crush on my girlfriend. Okay, sounds good. You're all 8-year-olds. I don't give a shit. So he's aware that some boys have crushes on boys and some boys have crushes on girls, and he's cool with it. And his best friend has a crush on a girl now, so that's all good. I think he asked him to marry him once. My best friend asked me to marry him. I said I want to marry my girlfriend. You guys are idiots. You're 8. You're not allowed to sign that legal document anyway. But the most recent trip to Eau Claire was for my niece's arrival from South Carolina. She flew home and we got to meet her. She's a little baby girl born on Halloween. And so we brought my son, but we didn't go to Social Reboot. We didn't go to an Eau Claire Express game. We got ice cream downtown. I don't remember which one. It's not the one by the Children's Museum. It's the one a block up the hill. That one's really nice. I think on Blue Sky and on my Reddit, I'll post a bunch of pictures from some of my trips to Eau Claire, just so you can see. Because what do you think, Eau Claire? You want to be my second home? I just described 7 trips to Eau Claire. Kidding. The first one's from Madison. I did the Gritty in Madison, Wisconsin. The other 6 are from Eau Claire. Speaking of 6, 7, Donald Trump took 7 trips to Epstein Island. Do you think he could describe Epstein Island in as much detail as I just described Eau Claire? I'm afraid that he can. And that's why the Epstein files are still sealed. This is BirdDogPolitics. Check out another video. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz.